Hi, good afternoon, everybody. It's truly my sincere pleasure on behalf of all the residents that I have the privilege to represent in the City of Windsor and the town of Tecumseh to be with you today alongside each of the tremendous individuals here. They're all true and sincere friends of the people of Windsor-Essex. Our Premier, Doug Ford. Our Minister of Labour, Immigration Training and Skills Development, David Piccini. His Worship, the Mayor of Windsor, Mayor Drew Dilkins. Carl Lovett, Business Manager for the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, Local 773. Jason Rowe, Business Manager for the International Association of Bridge and Iron Workers, Local 700. Rayad Kadri, Head of the Ontario Vehicle Innovation Network. There we go. Claudia Krywak, President and CEO of the Ontario Centre of Innovation. And truly, Windsor-Essex has rightly built for itself a formidable reputation for innovation and leadership in skilled trades. And I'm truly proud to represent a significant part of that work in my riding of Windsor-Tecumseh. Today's announcement strengthens that legacy in the trades and will rebuild our workforce of tomorrow, one that fosters growth, training, and opportunities right here in Windsor-Essex. So together, we are building a better and stronger Ontario for all. And on this stage, full of true Windsor-Essex supporters, it is now my privilege to ask each of the organizations represented here today to come up and say a few words. Claudia?
Good afternoon, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here in Windsor, a city that has long been a hub for innovation and manufacturing. I want to acknowledge Premier Ford, Minister Piccini, Mayor Dilkins, MPP Dowie, Jason Rowe, and Carl Lovett. As CEO of the Ontario Centre of Innovation, we lead the Ontario Vehicle Innovation Network. OVIN is the province's flagship initiative for the automotive and mobility sector. Our organization is committed to strengthening Ontario's workforce through OVIN's training programs and talent initiatives. By partnering with the province of Ontario, we are investing in the education and training of skilled workers across Windsor and across the entire province. This is about more than just preparing for the jobs of today. It's also about equipping people with the skills needed to thrive in tomorrow's industries. The work we are doing will ensure that Ontario's workforce remains competitive on the global stage. It's this focus on training and development that will fuel our economy, create new opportunities, and support sustainable growth in the years ahead. Thank you, Premier Ford, Minister Piccini, for your ongoing leadership and collaboration. Together, we are ensuring that Ontario's workforce is ready to meet the demands of an evolving economy. It is now my great pleasure to introduce my colleague, Rayad Kadri, Head of OVIN.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm delighted to be back in my hometown of Windsor, Ontario, a city that's renowned for its pivotal role in the automotive industry of Ontario. As head of the Ontario Vehicle Innovation Network, or OVIN, I'm proud to be here today as part of a collaborative effort led by the Government of Ontario to shape the future of our automotive sector. Through the support of the Ontario government, OVIN has grown to be a globally renowned initiative in the automotive, mobility, and innovation space, and we are committed to ensuring Ontario remains at the forefront of this rapidly evolving industry. By cultivating a skilled workforce, we're ensuring Ontario's continued global leadership in the automotive sector, particularly as we transition to electric vehicles, batteries, and new mobility solutions of the future. This is crucial not only for Windsor, but for Ontario as a whole. We're creating jobs, attracting investments, and solidifying our global position as a leader in the sector's transformation. I want to thank Premier Ford and Minister Piccini for their unwavering support and leadership in driving this progress. Premier Ford promised to bring back good-paying jobs to Ontario, and he's delivered over and over and over again. Through today's support, we will equip Windsorites and Ontarians with the skills they need to get good-paying jobs and to power Ontario's auto sector for decades to come. Windsor's future is now brighter, and together we're forging a path for growth and a more prosperous Ontario. Thank you. And I'd like to introduce Carl Lovett, Business Manager at IBEW 773.
First, let me start by saying it's always a special day when we have Premier Ford and Minister Piccini down here in Windsor. Today's an extra special day, and I'm going to leave that up to them to tell you about the great announcement. Good afternoon, everybody. Carl Lovett, Business Manager of IBW Local 773. I'd first like to welcome Premier Ford, Minister Piccini, MPP Dowie, and Mayor Drew Dilkins. A relationship that has been built by Premier Ford, Minister Piccini, and the tradespeople of Ontario is nothing less than incredible. Premier Ford has promised to support the trades, and he has more than delivered. Under Premier Ford's leadership, the trades have grown, resulting in a more prosperous Ontario. I'm going to leave it at that. Now over to Mr. Jason Rowe, Business Manager of the Ironworkers here in Windsor, Local 700.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Jason Rowe, Business Manager of Ironworkers Local 700, and I represent approximately 1,100 ironworkers in southwestern Ontario. I first want to welcome Premier Ford and Minister Piccini to Windsor, the manufacturing hub of the province. Secondly, on behalf of the members of Local 700, I want to thank you for investing in us. Your investment will increase and modernize our training capabilities through the Skills Development Fund. The equipment we purchased will train our current apprentices, future apprentices, and journey person upgrades for over a decade, ensuring we are sending out trained, qualified, and skilled workers to our contractors. I hope your government continues to invest in the Skills Development Fund to ensure our future skilled tradespeople get access to the equipment they need to excel at their trade, and that we all invest in our people being able to work and build our community. Thank you. I'll turn this back over to MD.
Thank you very much, Jason, and thank you, Carl, for hosting us here today at your beautiful training center. Better training, better jobs with bigger paychecks. That is what we are on a mission to do here in Ontario. And, you know, I've got to say, you heard from the previous speakers, I believe Ontario's best days are yet to come. And I believe that to achieve that potential in this province, to be able to produce the things we want to produce, to manufacture the things we want to manufacture, it can and must be done right here in Ontario. It's a recognition that previous governments turned their backs on the union halls of this province when they refused to make investments in bricks and mortar and in better training for the people behind me. Because that's why we're here. These workers who choose to train here, who are on the forefront of building the Gordie Howe Bridge, who are on the forefront of doing work at the assembly plant here in Windsor. I mean, this city is positioning itself not just to succeed, but to thrive in the decades ahead. And Premier Ford recognizes that we have the talent and we have the people to get that job done here, right here in Ontario. Through our Skills Development Fund, Training Stream, and Capital Stream, we receive training through that fund in the healthcare sector. And the men and women in the skilled trades. You know, this Premier is tackling stigmas associated with the skilled trades. It's a better job with a bigger paycheck. We recognize that when you have a job in the trades, you have a career for life, a profession that is changing the lives of so many Ontarians. You know, we have a choice here in Ontario. We can sit back and let the world innovate and let the world build the electric vehicles of tomorrow and be consumers of that. Or we can do it right here in Ontario. We can build it. We have the best workers in the province. We have the conversations with labor leaders, with employers alike, who are committed to working together, who recognize that when each one of them succeeds, we succeed. And when you have a government partner willing to make those investments, willing to have the backs of workers, there's no telling what we can accomplish together. So it's my real honor to introduce Premier Ford, who's making this happen. Coupled with our incredible caucus team of MPP Dowie and Liardi here in this community, Premier Ford is making sure Windsor is ready for today, tomorrow, and for the generation of men and women who are going to benefit thanks to positioning this incredible community for the success of tomorrow. So Premier Ford, pleased to introduce you. He's going to make an exciting announcement today. Thank you very much, Premier.
Well, first of all, good afternoon, everyone, and thank you, David, for that kind introduction. You know, David's an absolute champion. I'm so fortunate to have him as Minister of Labour. You're doing a great job. You're building relationships right across the province. So thank you for all your hard work, David. Thank you. It's great to be back in the beautiful city of Windsor alongside Minister Piccini and MPP Andrew Dowie. Andrew, you're a true champion for this region. Thank God we have a representative, and you got elected last term, and we look forward to getting you elected one more time, and well, a few more times in 2024. I'm sorry, 2024. That was a slip. Okay, there's no election in 2024, and the next election, 2026. Now you know what the headlines are going to be. 2024. But before, oh boy. Before I begin, I want to thank Mayor Delkins, and Mayor, you're an absolute champ as well for joining us today, but just working collaboratively with us and everything that we've done together. It's pretty staggering if you think just over the last few years how we've turned things around as the previous government totally ignored Windsor for decades. I also want to welcome Claudia. Thank you, Claudia, from the Ontario Centre of Innovation, Rod, and from the Ontario Vehicle Innovation Network, Jason from the Ironworkers 700, and I want to give a big shout out to Carl and everyone here from IBEW 773 and for hosting us today. And I just want to give a big shout out to the women and men behind me. You folks are the ones that make it happen, so thank you. Those folks are champs. I have to say, we have the best labor partners here in Windsor and right across the province. And we're so grateful for your partnership, for the work you do preparing women and men for jobs in construction. I also, speaking of trades, I want to give a shout out to Dave Cassidy, the skills trade advisor that we have. We're blessed to have him, and was instrumental in Unifor. He was the commander-in-chief down here in southwestern Ontario and at the Stellantis facility. So thanks for all your support there, Dave. On behalf of the province, thank you for the critical role you play, that your workers play in building Windsor and building Ontario. Thank you. Friends, as everyone here knows, Windsor Essex is growing at a rapid pace. And, you know, before we came out, one of the guys were telling me the restaurants are getting full, things are happening. Vic Fideli, my Minister of Economic Development, showed me 4 pages of investments. A lot of those investments, multi-billion-dollar investments, are looking here in southwestern Ontario and the Windsor-Essex area. So there's still more coming. And I know it may not seem big, but a rumor has it, a Costco is coming to town. That's 200 to 300 more jobs. That's important, good-paying jobs. We're seeing more and more families establishing roots. Local companies are expanding, and we're attracting billions of dollars of new investments. In fact, in recent years, Windsor has consistently ranked among the top regions for new business growth. And Mayor, it's hard to believe it's been almost 2.5 years since I stood with you to celebrate Stellantis and LG's $5 billion investment to build the next Star plant. It's incredible. You know, folks, you see it when you fly in. I drove in, but I've flown in before, and you see this 4 million square foot facility. And always think, when you have those many people working there, the spin-off jobs. Friends, this plant is going to be a game changer for Windsor. It's going to create 2,500 good-paying jobs and spur further growth across the region and across our auto and manufacturing supply chains. Multiply 25, 7 spin-off jobs, Those are huge numbers, 2,500 times 7. This growth is good news for families. It's good news for Windsor. As we continue to grow, it's critical that our infrastructure evolves to support it. That's why we're working closely with Mayor Dilkins and all the mayors in the region to build more homes and bring home ownership into reach for more people. We're investing more than $50 billion, with a B, $50 billion to support more than 50 new hospital projects across Ontario, including for a new Windsor-Essex hospital. Right across the province, we're investing nearly $100 billion to expand and improve our transportation infrastructure. Here in Windsor-Essex, we have shovels in the ground to widen Highway 3 from 2 to 4 lanes between Essex and Leamington. We're supporting a new interchange connecting Lausanne Parkway to Highway 401, and they're clapping because I pronounced that right, Lausanne, right? and we're investing $50 million to help build a new interchange at Banwell Road and EC Row Expressway. Wow, that's going to be big. And Andrew and the mayor, they get all the credit because they were all over us for this, so thank you. We're building the roads, highways, homes, hospitals, schools, and other critical infrastructure that southwestern Ontario needs to reach its full potential. But as I always say, we can't build, we can't attract new investments and new jobs if we don't have the workers. That's why today I'm thrilled to announce that as part of our Skills Development Fund, we're investing more than $9 million in new funding to train approximately 2,300 workers for in-demand careers in Windsor-Essex. That's really good. Yeah. This includes $5.5 million for IBEW Local 773 from our new Skills Development Fund capital stream to build a new 2,400 square foot training center to train new electrical workers for jobs in the region's construction, manufacturing, and auto sectors. I saw the plans in Carl's office, spectacular. It's going to be amazing. I got to come back to throw the dirt around and get the shovels in the ground and then come back again to cut the ribbon because this is going to be incredible. It includes $3 million for OVIN and OCI to train 1,500 auto sector workers with a focus on electric vehicle and battery development, and approximately $513,000 for Iron Workers 700 to deliver training programs to upskill workers. These investments will help train thousands of workers throughout southwestern Ontario for better jobs that deliver bigger paychecks for them and their families. I just want to thank you all again for joining us today. Thank you for your partnership, and may God bless the people of Ontario. Thank you so much.
We will now go to reporters' questions. Reporters, please line up at the mic behind me. Please identify yourselves by name and outlet. Today, the format will be one question and one follow-up. First question.
Hi. Actually, my first question is for IBEW and about this new training facility.
Yeah, sure.
Can you talk to us about timelines, what exactly it'll be training, how can people access it, that type of thing?
Sure. Without investment like this, it's almost impossible for businesses, even a business as big as ours, to get this sort of stuff happening. So obviously there's a lot of things in place, a lot of parameters, everything's going to be checked off and balanced. We're waiting for just a final check off from our parent union in Washington, D.C. Once they give us that, we've been told by the general contractors the shovels are going in the ground right away. And before next summer is done, we'll be training people in that building. And just to correct something, we heard it sounded impressive. 2,400 square foot building. It's actually 24,000 square feet. No, we're good. 24,000 square feet. So currently we're in about a 10,000 square foot building. So we're going to over double the size of the capacity of people we can train. And if everything works out, we'll train in this facility we're currently in, and we'll train in the facility that's going to go to the back of our property right now. So we're looking forward to it. We're looking forward to getting some of these young men and women off the streets that want to get into the trades, that can't get into the trades. We want to give them the facility to get this training done, and the proper training by the IBEW. We teach the best people in the world, the best electricians, journey people. We're going to continue to do that once we get this new facility in place.
What kind of impact do you think that'll have once it is up and running?
It'll have a great impact on the area. The way the trades work right now, you have to get slotted into a time bank to get your government trade school taken care of. There's not always enough seats in the classrooms to get that sort of stuff done. By us putting this facility together, we're going to take everybody else in that surplus people and hopefully get them trained and get them out into the workforce as fast as we can. So those good paying jobs can pay good taxes in Ontario and make Ontario strive and build.
Sanjay Maru here from CTV News Windsor. Just branching off what you said there, can you speak to how this facility will get those individuals who you had mentioned they can't get into the trades right now, but will this facility be, how is it going to encourage those people to make that jump? Other than there's capacity, but is there going to be some incentives to say, hey, if you come to this training facility, there'll be X amount of incentives to have you take up the skilled trades?
Sure. So this year we took in 36 apprentices, and the reason we only took in 36 apprentices is because we don't have the facility to be able to train these people. We do mandatory night school training at our facility before they get to the government facility to do their training. So how it will help us is we had over 450 applications through young men and women that wanted to be in an apprenticeship program, and we don't have the capacity to take care of them. We don't have the infrastructure behind us. Nor do a lot of these other shops, Calmer Competition, some non-union shops, this and that. They may take in 1 or 2 people a year. We currently have over 130 apprentices waiting to become journey people working out in our trades. So they're you can see some of them behind me. They're out there working right now in the field, getting training, but they have limited time they can get to trade school. It's only when you're allotted that time to get in because other people also have to take it. By us doing this, once we get our TDA status, we'll be training our people and other people, showing how great the IBEW is, and we'll get them out into the workforce as fast as we can so they can start building Ontario and building Windsor. Sure.
I just want to add something to your point about attracting. So everybody plays its role, but I think this is reflective of a fundamental differing viewpoint. Before, the view was training only occurs in universities and in colleges. I think right now in Ontario today, it's a recognition that training occurs everywhere, on the job, through clusters of innovation, and right here in union training halls. And they do a remarkable job and open their doors to non-union shops for training as well, which is remarkable. So he mentioned training delivery agent status. That goes through our ministry. We're expanding. 100,000 estimated jobs in building construction alone, 1 in 3 journey persons retiring. This is a generation on whose shoulders we stand today who built what we enjoy. And that's a profound knowledge set that needs to be transferred to a new generation. So, you're looking at it behind me. It's inspiring to see the next generation. And it's not just happening here, but we're making investments through Skills Development Capital Stream across the Windsor region, with partners like Ironworkers and so many more, and across Ontario.
Just a follow-up, just question for the Premier, since we have you here. We were just hoping to get your reaction that the FAO is looking into the alcohol expansion deal, and if you're confident, or whether or not your thoughts on if you're confident that it's a good deal for taxpayer money.
Well, I think it's a great deal, but let me go back until people understand the FOA. They were contacted by the Liberals, our opposition, and Bonnie Crombie has made it abundantly clear that she wants to add tens of millions of dollars of cost on the backs of the people because they're going to pay for it. She doesn't believe in putting beer and wine in a corner store, and she just wants to add to the cost of a bottle of beer, a bottle of wine, some coolers. She wants to increase taxes. I don't believe in that. Matter of fact, we've never increased a tax in 6 years. We're the only government in the history of this province, probably in this country, that has never raised a tax. We've done the total opposite. To attract companies that we've seen over $45 billion of investment in the EV sector and another probably $20 billion in technology and $4 billion in life sciences. And people right here, the manufacturers, we've created the environment and the conditions, and I love telling our U.S. counterparts this. Last year, Ontario created more manufacturing jobs than all 50 U.S. states combined. But that's why we have elections moving forward. You have two choices. We go backwards, like the Liberals ignored this region for decades while they had representatives. Bonnie Crombie, all she believes in is taxing the people, taking money out of their pockets, taking money out of companies' pockets until they don't invest. Remember, folks, 6 years ago, the Liberals chased 300,000 jobs out of our province. Just think of that, 300,000. There's over 600,000 more people working today than there was 6 years ago. I apologize, it was 800,000. A lot of people working. We're going to keep building the environment for companies to invest here.
Hey everybody, Chris Ensing with CBC News in Windsor. Just speaking with jobs and sticking on jobs, if you and the Labour Minister could help people understand, this announcement is helpful for people looking for a job down the road. We hear about the battery plant that's going to bring thousands of jobs to this area. But Windsor has the highest unemployment rate today in Canada. It's had it for the last number of months. What do you say to people who are trying to find work today?
Well, I always say the people that go into the skilled trades, they have a job for life. They'll be able to carry that on for the rest of their life. And at one time, they might be able to go out and open their own company, but I encourage, make sure you never forget your roots. If you came from a trade union, you better support and hire trade union people. That's what I believe in. And you can see, I'm going to pass to you 1 second, David. You can see already, since we've been elected, the jobs that are being created here, and more jobs are coming here because of the people. We have the most talented people anywhere in the world, not just here in Ontario, but right here in Windsor. It's a manufacturing powerhouse around North America. And as the Americans know, and I talk to a lot of governors, we are an economic powerhouse now. We weren't an economic powerhouse 6 years ago, but we are now, and everyone's paying attention to Ontario and wanting to come here. Pass it over to you, David.
Yeah, thanks, Premier. I would just add, it starts a low taxation environment that the Premier's talked about, but to people who are unemployed today, that's why we have Skills Development Fund. Declining productivity in Canada, the Bank of Canada and many others have said some of the things you have to look at is skills development. So we launched the largest skills development fund in Ontario and Canadian history through SDF Training and Capital. So the training side helps get people better training into a better job with a bigger paycheck at its core. And to date, we've trained 600,000 people into better jobs. At every hall here, I'm sure Carl and others have stories of people who are either underemployed or precariously employed who are now on the path. I think, look, better electricians don't come in an easy bake oven. You got to train them. And that's what they do here. And they train them, and it takes time, whether it's the doctors who are training in our new med schools, the new nurses through the largest ever nursing seat expansion, or men and women in the skilled trades. It takes time, and SDF, our Skills Development Fund, training is the biggest fund to do it. And so that's an important piece to tackle that unemployment.
Okay.
Well, Chris, being a local resident, I've grown up here, and I've seen the hills and valleys of the economy. And for many, many years, we saw CS Wind on the side of the expressway, and it was underused and then ultimately not used. What this government is doing is foundational change, not just reacting to the circumstances of the day and trying to bribe companies to come here, as the Liberals have done, but we're doing the hard work necessary to instill skills and values here among our workers. And so IBW is doing phenomenal work here. LIUNA, the Carpenters and Joiners Union, many parts of our labor community are playing a part at revitalizing our economy by instilling the skill set so that companies know when they come down to Windsor and Essex County, there are workers here that will work those jobs. And so the companies will find the foundational pieces, the high quality of living, things for their families to do, recreation and access to high quality of life services and opportunities. And so this government specifically is one of the biggest reasons that I'm proud to be part of this government is that it's attacking the root causes of why we have persistently high unemployment in Windsor and Essex County by bringing forward the skill set and demonstrating that we're the best there is in the entire world for what we do.
was wondering if you could say more. No. Another question here. Another thing that's on people's minds here in Windsor is the cost of housing development. We recently heard that it's harder for council to deny an application that comes from a residential developer because of changes at the provincial level. These are developments that still see a number of people packing into council chambers trying to make sure their voices are heard because they say it's going to change the neighborhoods. What do you say to residents who are watching this shift take place, something that they oppose, and they might not have as much of a voice that they used to?
Well, I'm going to pass this over to the mayor, and he knows his region better than I do. These new companies that are coming, people need homes. They need, the hope of owning a home one time. And this is no different than anywhere in the province. People know we're short homes. You can't say we need more housing. Oh, by the way, not in my backyard. It doesn't cut it anymore. At one time, the people in that community walked into a new home just like anyone else. So they have to be flexible, but I'm not the one to answer that. The mayor knows this area better than I do.
Well, thank you, Premier. Certainly, City Council has been moving a record number of building permit applications through our process, and there's no doubt that it is causing some concern for residents who are seeing some areas of their neighborhood change. We still have many points of engagement, and so we have set up a process where the developer must engage with the public, hear the feedback, and before they make an application for development to the City of Windsor, hear the feedback and try and consider what the residents are saying before they actually submit that application. I think the Premier is absolutely right that there will be a number of applications that are coming through that are designed to address the challenges that we're seeing, not just in Windsor and Essex County, but throughout Ontario and across our country, and frankly in the United States as well. And so you can't on one hand say that you don't approve developments in certain areas and then have politicians go online and read in the newspaper and talk to their constituents at Costco and the grocery store saying, I can't find an apartment with affordable rent. It's a supply and demand equation. We need more supply in the system. I'm very proud of the work that City Council is doing to get applications through our process. That's the part that we control. We don't build houses. The city doesn't build houses. But we control the permitting process, we control the speed at which we operate, and we've done a remarkable job. We've already hit 85% of our Building Faster Fund target, the provincial program that's been set up, and we're certainly expecting by the end of this year we will meet at least 100% and likely exceed the target for the City of Windsor as we try and get to our 13,000 new units by 2031, which is in support of the province's goal of 1.5 million units. And so there's no doubt we have to have conversations with people. There's no doubt there will be some disruption, but we're trying to do it sensibly in Windsor. We're trying to be very sensible, and I think people who have looked at the way City Council has approached the Housing Accelerator Fund, that federal program that wanted fourplexes allowed as of right in every residential neighborhood, we said no to that because we knew the people here didn't want to see that amount of change in their neighborhoods. But we support the province and the change the province made to say, you know what, you can have ADUs, you can have a mother-in-law suite in the basement. On the proper size property, you can have an ADU in the backyard that adds to that property. We've been very supportive of that and working with many people who've put those applications forward because we believe that is a pathway to see more housing being built, add more supply to the housing market. And so we will continue to work with the province, and Premier Ford has been remarkable in listening to municipalities, listening to the Ontario big city mayors. He and Minister Calandra and the entire team have been extremely responsive to the concerns that we have raised and taking into consideration, and I think I would just say foundationally, respecting municipalities in their approach, respecting the fact that we may have a different approach to the way we want to see growth happen here in Windsor than they do in London or Hamilton and other communities in Ontario. And for us, that goes a long way to know that the province respects the way that people live here and the way they want to see their community grow.
Thank you, Mayor. That's great. Just to follow up with the mayor, he's bang on. I've said it publicly. The province doesn't know best. The people that know best are the mayors, the councils, that are out there right on the front doorstep of people. They understand. I want to congratulate the mayor and city council. They broke a record from last year, which they had a record, and they're exceeding those housing targets this year as well. So thank you.
Rusty Thompson from AM 800. We often hear about, we have an aging workforce in all sectors. How does this new training center help, I guess, stem some of the losses we might see as people age out to ensure that we're getting enough workers moving forward, trained, and we keep that talent pace moving?
Yeah, go on. Either one of you.
Sure, just on that, it leads off one of the comments that were made or questions were made earlier. We projected we'd need 18 apprentices this year. We took in 36. Our skills are transferable, portable. We can go down the highway. Windsor stops and starts, I guess, at the border here in Ontario. But our skills can go outside of this region. So as some of us have heard, St. Thomas is going to have a big battery plant with Volkswagen. And other plants of Ontario are having some big investments. That's where the IBEW comes into the picture. So if next year they project I need 30 people, I'm going to take in 60 people. Because as work winds down in this jurisdiction, we're going to head to the next jurisdiction. And unlike previous governments that were reactive, this government's proactive. They're coming to us now knowing what's happening in Ontario, knowing what's going to happen in Ontario, and they're offering these funds to us to say, come on, build what you have. We trust you. Let's get these people trained, and let's get them working on other places in Ontario. So that's what we're doing right now with this facility we have. We're training as many people as we can. We overlap days and hours. So I've got students here at night to all hours of the night. I've got them on the weekend. I've got my welding instructor in the background because although we are electricians, we're also welders here. We get people trained in all aspects of electricity, industrial, residential, commercial, and then we get them off working as fast as we can to get the new batch in so we can have the new people coming in. So when we see people retiring, we see people leaving, we know we have 20 people retiring, we're going to replace those 20 people and we're going to add on top of that. And we'll continue to do that because Windsor's only going to grow. Like Premier Ford said with the announcement of the acute care facility, the mega hospital on County Road 42, that will take approximately 350 electricians and apprentices there, 4 years to finish that project, 350. So the rest of the people are going to be down the highway. And if we need more, we're going to take in more. We're going to keep training your sons and daughters, women and children. They're all going to be here getting trained, and we're going to get them out in the workforce as fast as we can. So those tax dollars come back, the income comes to families, the restaurants get utilized here in this area. Sporting events, that sort of thing, brings all money back to this area. We do that by building the economy and making the people and the investors happy with the product we're delivering. So hats off to Premier Ford and Minister Piccini for those funds to push us in the right direction so we can be growing and striving like we always do.
Just as a follow-up then, how would you characterize the interest from young people who are looking to enter the trade, and what would your message be to them?
So I've got an Next-Gen committee here, and what I do with them, and some of the people are right behind me, we send them out to schools. We've got all the school boards in the area on board, where my people go talk to their people, and what happens is we screen the right candidates, make sure I have the maths, the sciences, because we do have a lot of math and science you have to know to get through our electrical trade. So what we do is we take all those people, all of our people, send them out to schools, talk to these people, and when we find interests, because a lot of these schools are starting from grade 9 now, all the way through. We find somebody that followed all the way through, we already know they're a candidate to come in. We bring them over for some training, we do it over the summer, sometimes throughout the year. If they have co-op programs, we find those people and we take them all before our competition does, or before they lose interest and try to do something else. Because we have a lot of people that started in the electrical trade. People talk to them, maybe you should be a lawyer, doctor, something else. They went to university, didn't really like it, came back to us afterwards with a university degree saying, no, I want to be an electrician. And we have those people all the time, and we welcome them back. People that have investment in their life usually do better in life. And we try to instill that in the young people we have.
25% of people in universities come back to college just to trade, halls like this, and get trained.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, what more can you say? That was a great answer. I would also just add across Ontario, we have our Level Up Skilled Trades Fairs. This is the first time in Ontario's history that we've done that, our third year running. We're going to target over 35,000 youth, from all corners. We just had one in Cobourg in my own community. Almost 1,000 youth went through there. Seeing their eyes light up, the most common words I heard is, we've never done this before. And so we're exposing that with partners, whom we see around us here today who take part in the level ups all over Ontario. I would add this year for the first time, Premier Ford said we've got to go after parents, so that's what we're doing. In the evenings, we're opening it up to the public. And so it was amazing. I'd have parents in my community saying we went and saw it in the evening as well, and we're so excited for our son or our daughter, and that's just how we're going to inspire the next generation.
Yep, that's great. And we're going to continue teaching them in school. When I grew up, there's a few guys my age over here, we used to go into shop class. Then shop classes disappeared. We're going to bring shop classes back to the schools.
Just for MPP Dowie and Mayor Dilkins, just the fact that Windsor has received this investment and what it means to the area, the region.
It's always a bright day when the province of Ontario invests in our community. I think Rusty probably remember many days when our funding applications or we were turned down for what we were looking for from the province. So this provincial government has been here every step of the way for the people of Windsor to come see. No call goes unanswered. No discussion is never had. I know that the grammar doesn't work there, but being there, being part of the Ontario government, I found with certainly Premier Ford, Minister Piccini, and the entirety of the Ontario cabinet, that they are receptive to my phone call, to my conversation, and advocating for my constituents. And so having investments like these that invest in our people and bring people of our community the careers that they need to be successful, it's just music to my ears. It's something that I welcome with open arms, and we're certainly not done and over with this yet. There's more to do, and we'll keep on doing it.
And I would just say, when the Premier said, when you were first elected or the last campaign, but he had a slogan saying open for business. And I said, I want our sign in Windsor. He's putting signs in different communities, and we have our sign down by the Tourist Bureau. And you look at what's happened here with the support of this government. You look at the EV battery factory. You look at the supply chain that is being built. You look at what's going to happen. Look what's happening with the Gordie Howe Bridge, but we all know there is a bright future on the tail end of the opening of the Gordie Howe Bridge. And if you don't believe me, talk to the Conference Board of Canada, who amongst the 32 cities in this nation that they review, say that Windsor is the fastest growing community. And I think it's fair to say that we are going to win. We're going to win the war, and we're going to win the war on talent. And that's how communities are going to win and provinces are going to win. And so this investment today to help support the electrical workers, this investment today that helps support the iron workers, this investment today that helps support retrain auto workers to upskill on the battery side to become proficient in EV battery technology, this is amazing. This is an incredible $9 million investment that will allow us to continue to win that war on talent and allow our city and our region to be successful for a long time to come.
This will be the last question.
There, my name's Madeline from the Windsor Star. I think a lot of my fellow reporters already asked the questions about this announcement, but I just have one last question about homeless encampments. Last month, I think a lot of municipalities, including Windsor, came to your government and asked for support as they navigate that. Here in Windsor, we have thousands of people on the registry waiting for affordable housing, and that could be years away. Our emergency shelters are operating at almost 100% this summer. What's your plan to kind of support Windsor and other municipalities across the province as they navigate this?
Well, we've poured hundreds of millions of dollars in support of homelessness, but I always have one theory in life. The best hand up is getting them a good paying job. Let's bring them in here, give them a trade until they can go out there and get back on their feet and be able to pay rent, maybe put a deposit down on a mortgage. That's what I believe in. But we're going to continue pouring money into supporting the homeless.
Thank you.
I just want to, first of all, again, thank everyone here. I want to thank the incredible people behind me for doing a great job and the mayor. But do you know I'm going to give a shout out? I'm going to give a shout out to the media. This is the first time, and I do thousands of interviews and press conference. First time you've stuck to the topic. It's amazing. Every single one of you have asked about why we're here. You didn't go into the tulip shop and everything else. So maybe I can ask the Minister of Labour, do we have a fund that we can bring all the Toronto media down here for a training session into the media training building? I will pay for it. But anyways, again, thank you so much. We're heading over to the hospital. We're going to have an announcement there, a couple other places. I love the people of Windsor. They're absolute champions. Thank you and God bless. Thanks.